Well, I've been playing with so many things here lately, it's crazy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Psychic Biz Live. I'm Ace Knight, and with me tonight is Miss Sonia Anita Haynes, the lovely Miss Rain, and the divine Angel. So we're going to be talking about a few things tonight that's been going on, and, we're going to be, we got some sad news today. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let's kind of get everybody in queued and talking about what we're doing on our shows this week. Miss Sonia just came out of this one studio and walked into the other. So, how are you, Miss Sonia?
I am doing just great. Thank you, Asen. Hello, everyone. Yes, I just came out of my show and I didn't know what I was going to talk about until just about half an hour before. And we talked about the return of the goddess. You guys are in the process of bringing on a bad, you-know-what goddess into your country to run your country. So that woman's going to get things right. Everyone's moving into that goddess energy. Oops, pardon me, my phone is ringing. I have to jump over, so someone else talk, please.
Yes, darling.
Have someone coming in.
Hello, Miss Rainey. How are you, sweetheart?
Sitting here. Okay, has it gotten calm yet?
Yep, it's your turn.
I am wonderful.
Yeah, just came back from the beach.
I just came back from Miami, had a wonderful time. It's interesting that we're talking about trust tonight because I had a lot of personal revelations and doing a lot of, I guess, due to the universe says, here you go. Guess what I've been working on?
Mm-hmm. And, we're going to be talking about those here you go moments when you're over at the coffee shop with me on Wednesday nights.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. And sometimes, situations come in and you're going, why am I here? What is going on? And, there's always something to learn about yourself, revelation about yourself, about things, how you've handled things in the past, why you have reactions in a certain way, and where does it come from, because it's always a core thing, So working on that, I've kind of been busy all day long with readings. It's been a very busy day for me, so kind of getting off of that and coming in here and just hanging out and smoozing with you guys and having some, down-home country conversations about life and farming and cooking and enjoying. A little bit relaxed, but I think I need to be.
Yeah, you do, honey. Good evening, Miss Divine. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good evening, guys. It's I'm really happy to be here tonight. And yeah, what am I going to do in my show on Sunday night? I am preparing something in regards to channeling and teaching you guys how to connect with your guides and your angels and eventually some loved ones. So I'm working on that. Other than that, if I'm not quite ready for that, I will certainly do some readings and teach you a little bit more about angels.
Awesome. That sounds like
so I think, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got the sad news today, just a little while ago, that Miss Cleo, the actress that played Miss Cleo, passed away. And there was a lot of confusion about her, and a lot of news media occurred in the late 90s. I was with the company at that time that had her as their spokesperson. And she was a spokesperson, and then the company, basically defrauded people because people would call in. But what's more notable about her was how she dealt with that and how much she got us into you guys' living room. She was probably the first public psychic at 3 in the morning that would be on air live. But she was a character. Everything was a scripted thing. It wasn't a live call-in show. I had the chance to actually meet the lady because I did work for the company at that time, and she was a really nice woman, really sweet, but she died at 53 from cancer, so, prayers for her family and her long-term partner, and, because I have a jaded view because I was in the organization at the time. you guys, I don't think were. What were y'all's views of her, and those thoughts? Sonia?
Oh, Miss Cleo, I know a little bit about her. It's kind of funny. Something on aside, my daughters probably understood her more than I did. I tend not to pay as much attention to things. So I was washing my daughter's hair, and I was, I'm good at massaging and all this stuff. And she said, "Oh, Mom, you should do a Miss Cleo." So I said, "What do you mean?" So she figures I should get into psychic readings and shampoos because I was so good at it. So they created the ad and everything. I think Miss Cleo ended up, I think her lack of trust in her ability, in my personal opinion, is what led to her scripting things, because a lot of us, when we do this work, we're not sure because there's nothing there to tell us whether what we're saying is going to be real or true, or we kind of have to trust what we say and trust the information. And when you don't have that trust, you kind of have to script your way through it, almost to authenticate for oneself, right? And so, and that's why a lot of people, when they do all these things, they have, what is it, the magic show where the guy has someone in the audience who will stand up and say their names and such. Every single person have intuitive ability, everybody. And I feel Miss Cleo was probably one of the best, except that she didn't trust her ability. She didn't trust it, and because she didn't trust it, it ended up going sideways.
It did. Because when they hired her to be the spokesperson, she wasn't a psychic. She's an actress. It was just supposed to be one of those 2-bit commercials like Bill Cosby coming out and going, "There's always room for Jello." But, and it got, they found her in Seattle, but she was out of L.A., but she really was one of the first faces in a lot of American TV that, created the character of the psychic past the gypsy version. What about you, Miss Rainey? Because, you were in that LA area back then.
Well, I wasn't in the LA area. I was up north near Mount Shasta, so I was a little bit more removed from it. I understand, when you're talking about not trusting, because I actually agree, that she didn't necessarily trust herself, but also I was really very similarly on the same level myself, kind of like, okay, I'm getting this and I'm giving this information, and at the time, it was more about, okay, is this person going to come back and tell me that I'm right? And that's how I built up my faith, because it's like, okay, I know I'm getting this. It doesn't make any sense. Kind of like the fairy that I saw dancing across behind you here a few minutes ago. I went, oh, Jason, what have you got going on over there?
Oh, honey, my house is Grand Central Station. Spirits stop in, make coffee. I wish they'd learn to clean the house.
This one sort of danced behind you, and I went, oh, okay.
Let's get the European view. Miss Divine, since you are from Germany, you were telling me that a lot of the Europeans thought she was a really great psychic and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was at that time when she became famous through her commercials in Germany. I remember her accent. It was totally funny. And I was at that time, I was working at night, and and I saw her commercials at night, actually, and it was pretty interesting. And I thought, whoa, she is pretty good in what she does. What I liked with her was she was straightforward. She was not very much of the compassionate type of girl. She was more like straightforward. She was a mix between being straightforward. She had a little bit compassion, but she clearly told people how it is. And now hear that whole thing in her accent and in German. So I wonder who they found in Germany to really did the voiceovers for her, so that we could understand her. Was pretty interesting. And I actually liked what she did, and she appeared to me to be authentic. I
Mm-hmm.
did not know that she was an actress. It was also just around the time when I really got heavily more um, into tarot card readings,
Mm-hmm.
and it was actually around the time where I also had my near-death experience, and where I saw my grandfather, and where I noticed that things are different in my life. So when I saw her, and she always reminded me on a lady who is um, who is related to voodoo or something like that,
Right.
macumba, voodoo, and all that kind of stuff. It was really interesting. It was a little scary, but it was interesting. So I watched her, and whenever I could.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that she was just an actress. That
Yeah.
she never really was a psychic
Mm-mm. She.
in terms of psychic. So
Right.
really deeply intuitive for
Right.
working on her gifts.
Right.
So
And I
it's
think,
it's really
a lot of people are still realizing that. And I can remember, after the big federal case that went on with that network, that it really brought out a lot of she done a lot of good for our industry, and it took a
yeah.
while to really, now looking back, good God, 20 years almost looking back, it's like,
hmm
even though it was a hard time for the industry, it actually brought about a lot of good things. Now, we have more authority. The networks have more authority. They now test their readers. Because I
Yeah.
used to do trainings in Atlanta. We'd fly, all the applicants down, and it'd be a weekend power shop. You'd hit the ground, we'd do dinner, then, I'd teach you the tarot, I'd teach you some numerology, I'd throw in, some basic customer service stuff, and then fly you back. And then you would do readings. But now the industry is much different. Um,
Yeah.
but she really was one of the first personalities that was representing us. It was her, Dionne Warwick, and there was another one. Who else was there? Her and Dionne Warwick were the two. Who did Bodyguard?
Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston.
Whitney
It was them
Houston.
three that used to run the PR campaigns and stuff for PRN. Um, and
Whitney Houston?
uh-huh,
Really?
Oh, I
really.
didn't know that.
Oh yeah, honey. That was way back in the late '80s, early '90s, honey. When
Wow.
Wow.
okay, this is how much the industry in itself has changed since the Miss Cleo commercial days. We now don't sit on the phone all night listening to very bad music, um, and waiting
Yeah.
to hear the beep in your headset that said that you were going to get a call. We no longer have ballroom psychic networks where they would take you and um, be in a telecenter. We get the joy of working in our own offices.
Yeah.
Our clients no longer have to go through and pay us by their phone bills. So yeah, a lot of things have changed.
Mhm.
A lot of things have changed, and it's much better, I will say. But it did create a trust issue there for a lot of times, so, with the psychics and the clients. And I think that it was good that we grew past that. Um,
Yeah.
so let's talk about trust, what it is when we give it. Sonia, what's your thoughts on trust?
Oh boy. I feel, and as I tell all my clients, the only person you can trust is yourself. You can trust that you'll never be hurt. You can trust that you are choosing what the person says, and you have to trust whether you can accept that information or not. If you throw your trust at someone, it's almost like faith. It's like that trust can be broken if you throw it at someone. So when I connect with someone, I know, because I use my intuitive ability to know that person's spirit. So I know what type of experience I'm going to have with that individual. I don't have to trust that person. So I'm a little bit different in my approach to it, in that the only person, as I said, I know I can trust is me. Once that is set and clear, I can trust anybody, using that word loosely, because I know that, because I know me and I trust me, nobody can hurt me, turn me the wrong way, twist me upside down or whatever, because it's all about this energy that I've created around myself.
You bring up a good point there about trusting yourself. Rainey, you know, we've dealt with it before, and you work a lot with clients on their own trust issues of themselves.
Right.
When something's gone on or blown up, how do you work on learning to trust yourself again?
Well, it's interesting. That's something that I've been, thinking about since we decided to do this topic earlier. And really, the core is, it is about trusting yourself, okay, and trusting who you allow yourself to be around. And that can be really difficult, for example, with clients when they're coming out of relationships where trust has been betrayed, where they're coming out of a lifelong history with people who even go back to the family core that have betrayed that trust. And so they've learned not to trust themselves and to give away their power very, very easily, and oftentimes not realizing it. And oftentimes, with that, they're going in and they're trusting and they're giving that goodness and that heart, to someone, and expecting that person to be trustworthy, to be that person that they care about. And this isn't just about romantic relationships, by the way. And then feeling disappointed because that person, either lets them down, or worst case scenario, we begin to attract people, and I talk about people in general because it can be people that you have a loose association with, maybe a group that you're a part of, where someone isn't treating you with the respect that you think that you deserve. Well, quite often when people have trust issues, and it goes in various ways depending on the person, but with my clients I find that often, they give that trust and the trust is betrayed, okay? They want to have faith in other people, but they don't know how to handle the boundaries, when somebody betrays that trust. And in things that I will suggest with them, because trust being built back up can be very challenging, especially if it goes back through the lifetime, or even lifetimes for that matter. It's important to learn to trust yourself, but it's also important to learn to set boundaries and boundaries with regard to trust with the people that you surround yourself with. Sometimes that means breaking away from people, but if you don't feel like you're in a position to do that, sometimes that can be with family, sometimes it can be with friends. Setting the boundaries, okay, and surrounding yourself with people who do show integrity, who do show honor, who are consistent. Because it isn't just about you being around those people, which is really important, but that energy also, you also get that energy from these people because you're being around positive people, you're being around honest people. That's hard to do if you've never really been in that position. And this is where, and I think Sonia's even talked about this a little bit on a different subject, that's where you go in and you kind of make that list, okay? What kind of person would I consider to be trustworthy? What is trust? Define it for yourself and define what it is that you would want to be for somebody else, but most importantly, what you would want them to be for you, because you're trying to be that.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to have yourself around people who are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Start spreading and keeping yourself in that energy. And those who aren't trustworthy are always going to try to come in and out, and they're going to try to test you because that's what life is all about. Oh, I'm getting tested today.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get stronger,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to deal with that better. Anyway, sorry, long breath.
Good breath. Miss Divine, what about when you start getting communication from the angels? How do you know when to trust that, or how do you define that? Because, a lot of people have a hard time learning to accept what they get on that intuitive level.
That's a good question. I get that question quite often. When I get messages, they are coming into my ears, into my head even. Like I mentioned earlier in the conversation, I had a specific message coming through today to me. I had somebody that I needed to remind to listen. This person didn't want to listen what she got in guidance. And she kept on being all over the place. And it's like, hey girl, you need to listen what we are trying to get to you in a message. And she was still doing fiddling here, fiddling there with all her questions. And again, and then I heard it really, really loud. Tell her to listen. She does not listen. She needs to listen. So I knew this is serious. Hallelujah. This is really serious. And when I get my messages, I trust these messages because they help me to get the messages to the client. And this is, I feel it all over as well. I feel the energy that is coming to me and tells me, hey, you need to tell them. Angels can be funny too. You might not believe it, but they can be funny. They never get mad. Guides the same way. They never get mad, but they make themselves known. They become frustrated too. They don't get mad, but they get frustrated.
Right.
And all of a sudden, if this lady would have seen me sitting there, it was like earlier, when you have earbuds in your ears, and all of a sudden you forgot to turn your speakers down, and somebody is talking into your ear, and you have your speakers on 92, not realizing that.
Divine, honey,
Boom!
Divine, give your transference a minute because we're getting back feed from you. That's okay. So, guys, and I'm going to throw it to Miss Sonia first. What's the first steps in your thoughts on? Oh, we're getting it. Is it across the board? It's over here. Hold still. All right, we'll track this down. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Sonia, how do you repair? How do you repair trust after it's broken, or do you?
I've had a lot of people come to me and say, I knew I shouldn't have trusted. That's the word knew. I knew I shouldn't have trusted. We're all intuitive. We are all intuitively connected to each other in that we know if someone walks into our world and that person does not resonate, and that's where the trust works, right? If the person resonates with you, you are able to trust that individual. So if the person walks into your space and that person does not resonate with you, then you need to decide in advance of handing your life over or your feelings over or any of those things, you need to decide that, okay, I don't think that person is going to be the right one for me, or we're going to get along fine, or I don't think I can trust that individual. So in that state, if you quote unquote gave away your trust and the trust, it's gone, you just basically, to me, I don't I personally don't believe in trusting someone once they've messed up. But if I know that I can trust myself, I can have that person in my life, but I don't have to go into the trust issues. Do you know what I mean? I don't have to go into that. I can embrace the individual in my world. We can walk almost like how angels walk, with wings, with feet barely touching the ground. We can check each other out, but I'm always one who tells you where it is. What you did made me feel this way. I always speak up. I always tell them what's going on. And so because of that, that trust issue doesn't come up because we're always communicating. I think communication is probably the best doorway towards trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the rattlesnake tells you that it's a rattlesnake because it rattles its tail. Right? Yeah. So you know whether you can trust that snake or not because it's a rattlesnake. It'll tell you. Exactly.
Yes.
And so that's the situation. If we communicate, if we tell people where we're at, we don't have to worry about that trust thing. As long as we trust ourselves, we don't have to worry about trusting others because we are defining our boundaries. You know what I mean? We're defining it. And because we define it, that person, if that person behaves in a negative way, you just keep walking. You just pick up your boundary and move it over there,
Right. And see, I think that's the first thing is that boundary has to be set. You can't just keep moving it. Oh, there's our train. There's some traveling going on.
Right on time.
Exactly. I love it when it's on time. But you can't keep moving that boundary like, you can't respect this. Not a problem. I'll retreat 50 foot because by the time you keep doing that, eventually there's no place to retreat to, and you're backed into a corner.
Yeah.
And when you've had that trust issue, and you can't keep charging everybody with the same trust issue. You're like, oh, I can't trust you because you look and act like the last one that hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go, oh, you're new. Okay, we're going to see how you do. I give people about 3 shots. After 3 shots, they're gone. But I'm also one of those that doesn't immediately trust people.
Yeah.
I don't, because I'm like, okay, show me who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Show me who you are. Show me what you want. Especially in relationships, it's show me what you want. Show me who you are. Show me how you're going to be things before I instantly trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that really gets a lot of people in trouble is they'll trust, but at the same time, they'll want that controlling jealousy to go into the pot. And that's like taking a nice, beautiful steak and throwing hot sauce on it and then expecting it to taste good. It's not going to work that way.
That's right.
So, Randy, we're going to see if your sound sounds right now, and if so, why don't you talk about a little bit about the releasing? No, Randy's bandwidth is dropped for some weird reason, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Devon, honey, what's your thoughts on when the trust or when trust issues come up? How do you work through those trust issues?
Are you meaning trust issues in a private environment or
in general?
In working
in a personal relationship.
Well, it's kind of hard for me in the beginning, but I am more of the forgiving person. So I usually give people a second chance. But if I find out, it takes a really long time to make me mad. But when somebody betrays me, one time I always try to find out what was the motive of the person to do that. There are often situations where people either don't try to ask for help or whatever, and they do something that is not good, or they talk behind your back. And well, for me, bottom line is everybody deserves a chance, and they get it. But if they mess it up, they mess it up. And I'm not a person who instantly trusts. because I got burned a few times. So I am more like you, Asen. They need to show me that they are trustworthy. So how I
Yeah.
deal with that is I tell them, hey, you screwed me over. You do it one time, but not the second time.
Right.
Yeah.
So
You know.
It's
they get their chance.
interesting. Yeah. It's interesting because the whole idea of trusting to me personally is it's like floating. It's like being in the ocean and you float. That energy of
Yeah.
float is letting go of control. And so because I can read people, when I meet an individual, I'll know the negative and the positive of the person, and I'll decide whether I can put up with the negative or not. Right? So that's my own personal journey with that. And in and so if I do that, then if they do something negative, I'm already aware that they may, so it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing, the whole idea of trust. I have I think I said earlier, I have a lot of people who say to me, well, I can trust you. I can really trust you. All the other people I can't trust. And I always say to them, the only person you should trust is yourself. That's it. Because the moment a person says that to you, you're up the creek without the paddle, because they're going to look for some way that they can't trust you so that they can knock you off that pedestal. So if they can trust themselves, then they will pay attention to what they get from the information. They will hold on to what they gain as opposed to what you give. I don't know if Rainey is available to talk there.
I'm trying to get her to come in, but I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, I'm getting just straight feedback. Okay, well, let me get back to our screen. There we go. All right, so that didn't work. I was hoping to see if it would work, and it just isn't going to work, Rainey. That's okay. We'll get that fixed in a little while. So, another thing that comes up with trust is past behavior. How many of y'all look at like, oh, he's been married 3 times and he cheated on his last 3 wives, but he isn't going to cheat on me, so I can just go ahead and auto trust him.
Well, oh boy. Well, I mean, things do change. The leopard, the snake does shed its skin and gets a new skin. So, I think like attracts like. And if you are in a place where you're looking for someone who's going to let you down, you'll automatically find the person who will let you down. That's that whole energy of like attracts like, right? And so sometime eventually the guy who's cheated on his wife 3 times might come to a place where you're so divine, you're so delicious that he doesn't want to risk losing you, and then he'll just keep himself in line to maintain that relationship. Hope springs eternally.
Oh, but can it be regrown after it's broke? I mean, after, if you're looking at someone's past behavior and you already have 3 ex-wives and you're looking at marrying him for the 4th one, but that's when it all blows up normally, is after they get married or after this occurs or after that occurs. Does that trust barrier get a little bit closer to you and it's like a little bit thicker, or do you think it gets thinner?
I look at why they did what they did. That's the long and short of it. What is their motivation for running in those 3 experiences? And am I matching with those other women that will cause a person to run? So again, the whole trust thing is about me looking at the person, looking at the situation, looking at how well do I fit. And I always tell women men, women who go into a relationship where the person has a series of negative experiences or letting people down, to go and talk to the exes and get the scoop.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell them that. Go talk to the exes, because then you'll get a personality profile that will give you an understanding of the individual.
That's an interesting concept. Go talk to the exes. I kind of like that idea because
Yeah,
I like that. I like
It'll
going
save
and
a lot
talking
of
to the
heartache.
exes. Oh, honey, not only heartache but alimony too.
Yeah. You know, the person who stubbornly hangs on to the person, say he'll never do that to me without checking it, they're not even interested in trusting. They're just
Right.
wanting something that they're going to try and bend everything to their will, and that has nothing to do with trust whatsoever. It just
Right.
has to do, you know, that whole control thing that you've talked about.
Right, and that's part of trust is learning exactly what control you're giving them or you're allowing them to have.
Mm-hmm.
When you start trusting or giving trust to somebody, and you have to question yourself: do you trust them enough to do this? Do you trust them enough to do that?
Yes.
Do you trust them enough to carry your bank card, or
Mm-hmm.
do you hide the keys?
Yeah.
You've got to get into that trust, but when you first get out of those relationships and you start having trust issues with yourself because you're like, oh, why did I do that? Why the heck did I date that moron?
Mm-hmm.
How the hell? You second guess your choices, or at least I always have, of like, oh my God, okay, we are not going to date another Scorpio. I'm not dating another one with green eyes. I'm not dating another one that works as the psychologist or works in this field. And that's because you have broken your own trust. And then you start putting restrictions, because like when people break my trust, that's when I start restricting their behavior and their value in my life. It's like, oh, your stock just dropped 20 points. So I'm not going to trust you in my house, or I'm not going to trust you to do this because I can't trust you anymore. And that's hard to get over or hard to build on. Divine, what's your thoughts, honey? Because I like getting your perspective on things too.
Okay. So, like I said, when you said Scorpio, I would never date a Scorpio again.
Hey, I've got 2 Scorpio daughters. They're amazing.
I'm talking about a male. I used to date a Scorpio male who greatly not only broke my trust, but for me, trust is very important, and I can tell you a good story about trust. When I first met my late hubby online, he was very talkative, and I asked him when we started talking, he spilled things to me, and he had the instant feeling. He told me, I have the instant feeling that I can trust you. And I said, well, yes, you can. And he was really spilling out everything out of his life about his little son, about his ex-wife, and he even trusted me with court papers and the so-called bank card, Jason. So, and I never broke his trust in regards to that, because that was something that was really nice to me, that somebody came to me, has not really dated me yet, talked to me on the phone for hours, and really gave me that, or trusted me that much. And this was going on until he passed away. And I feel guilty because I couldn't fulfill his last wishes because his family got in the way. And that was for me, that I had the feeling that I broke his trust. And in last but not least, I need to say that from the other side, I got I got messages that everything is good and that I should not feel guilty. But I think two people out of this family dynamic feel incredibly guilty because somebody got something that they shouldn't have gotten, and they always thought that he would turn around. How you say this? When somebody's turning in his grave, and um, it was incredibly hard. But I really, really am grateful that I had him in my life and that he trusted me with his life. So with everything. And that was incredibly good for me. It was a learning experience. And he was so kind and so peaceful. And I can only say when somebody's giving you that feeling, you don't want to mess it up whatsoever. You don't want to mess this up. You want to give that person the feeling that they are in the right hands and that they can trust. And he did instantly, and that was really, really good. It was a really good thing.
Yeah.
However, I have my trust issues with other people. You know, I completely understand you when you say you don't want to date a person a certain person anymore. I never ever would date a Scorpio man anymore. You know, ever. No. For me, this person was an emotional desert, and I'm that bubbly person. I can talk forever. You know, but this man, hell, he was a moron. Yeah. No, very bad.
Yep. Let's clarify. We're talking about male Scorpio. Those are masculine energy Scorpios. Do not feminine energy Scorpios. And we need to talk about that one. Yeah, we need to talk about that one night, though, guys, is the differences in astrology and how complex it can get. And, because, a lot of people go, oh, and Aries is great with a Leo. No, we're not. No. Not this Aries. No. Battlefield begin. But we'll talk about that one night. Oh.
Oh, yeah, would be great. I would love to.
And by the way, I've got a few in the chat room that agree with me that Scorpio men are evil. Charming, sexy, sweet, but evil.
Yummy.
Yeah, they are evil.
Yes, but that's okay. All signs have that darker side to them. And, you brought up an interesting point about Divine, about giving your trust immediately. And some people do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's an internal gut thing that says, yes, I can trust you. No, I can't trust this one. Yes, I can trust this one. No, I can't trust this one. And that, I think, is important, to listen to that gut instinct and go with it on that first impression, that first gut instinct of, okay, yeah, you're nice. I can work with you. No, I can't work with you. Or, nope.
Yeah.
No, can't deal with you. There's something about you. I don't know why I can't trust you, but I've got to go and double check everything you say, even if the sky is blue. So I think that, your intuitiveness, your self-intuitiveness has to be in that mix of figuring out when and where to trust and when and where to go, we can't do this because I don't have that comfy feeling with you. And granted, there are some psychopaths out there that cause you to think that they're all comfy and sweet and nice, and it's like, no, they're not. They were the worst thing that ever came in the world. Go away. Run real quick.
Run for the hills.
Run past the hills, honey.
Yeah, past the hills. Yeah.
So, Miss Sonia, what do you got going on? This week you're doing, other than your two. Are we doing a Sunday show this week?
Yes, I will be. I might interview a lady. I have to set it up though. So
Cool.
Yes, I do. I will have the Sunday show. I actually send out every Sunday morning a weekly affirmation. Which if people go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, they'll get it in their mailbox every week. And the affirmation is basically an affirmation with a little bit of insight with it. So that's kind of fun. So I end up having to get that out for 3 o'clock Pacific time, 3 a.m., and then that goes out. I've been on Psychic Biz from time to time. It's been so quiet that half the time I forget it's still on, and then I go out and then I come back and I realize that someone had tried to reach me. So that's been interesting. But in the meantime, just doing my writing, doing my thing. I did on the Sunday show, I did a show with the people at Body Soul Spirit Expo, which I think if Psychic Biz can get involved in that, that would be great promotion for us.
Yes.
And what they suggest is if you mention my name, then they will give you an extended, if you say Sonia Haynes, they'll give you an extended promotion. So they'll do more promotion than what they've already done because I interviewed them. So it's a really great way of getting your name out there.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to be getting with the team and talking about Ace and going to Canada sometime this week. It's on my agenda.
Yeah, I told the guys about it, and he said they do have a section where you come in as a group, and it's a double stall, I think, on the end, and they have 3 psychics at a time in the booth, and then you can trade places and such.
Cool.
So it could be a great fun. I think they're really good. They've been around for over 20 years. So.
Cool. Now, Sonia, when is that? Because you are going to be there.
It's October the 5th, 6th, 7th, I believe. So it's 3 days, 3 incredibly long days, and whatever you pay in there, you make it back plus, plus, plus. So I've never lost money. Even when I have not done well, I've never lost money in the show.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth doing.
What about you, Miss Divine? What are you up to this week?
Well, I will certainly, like I mentioned in the beginning, I will be also on Psychic.biz. You can usually catch me on there on Mondays. Yesterday I was not on there because we had a horrible thunderstorm with 2-hour power outage.
Ooh.
So I was sitting here like, So, however, what I'm going to do is you guys can definitely set up an appointment with me if you like, and just look around, on my show on the Angel Whispers on Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, like I mentioned in the beginning. I will definitely look into working further on the channeling thing so that I can give you maybe a little bit of a meditation on how you can communicate with your angels. That is what I'm working on right now. Other than that, I will give some readings again. I think that worked out pretty well last time.
Now, you told me that you have another webinar you're going to.
I have a webinar that I'm attending on Saturday with a young lady. She actually has a group on Facebook, and I joined the group, and she's really, really good. I think she's just about 30 years old, and I'm learning more about how to develop my gifts, or how we can develop our gifts, how we can learn more about that. And I will definitely talk about that on Sunday too. I learned through James Van Praag. She was an extensive, she was a student of his program, and I learned actually quite a bit to develop my skills more in direction of mediumship and connecting not only with angels but also with loved ones.
Right. And, you've been doing that, last Sunday's show, for you guys that haven't watched it or listened to it, type it in at the Psychic Coffee Shop and you can bring up all our shows. But you actually done some channeling on the last Angel Whisperers show. So that was cool. That was really good. Okay, I'm going to talk for Miss Rainey because I kind of get the inside scoop for Miss Rainey. She's going to be on Psychic.biz all week. Next week she may be taking a little break, which is okay. You know, she tends to take those when she needs them. She just got back from Miami and got a wonderful tan. And, you know, it looks good. But, you know, she's also working on some articles and stuff to be looking forward to coming out very soon. All right. And then, you know, we're going to be talking about those aha, changing life moments, how to recover on the Psychic Coffee Shop. And, you know, then on Thursdays we have conversation. You know, this Thursday I will be on Conversations with Asen, and I'm doing Roundtable again because it sounds like you guys and our co-hosts really like that. So we'll be doing Roundtable, and for those that don't know what Roundtable is, it's where you call in and you talk about something, and then we do a reading, and then I go on to the next one. It's not really a topic per se. And then we have another show starting out on Mondays. I believe August 1st. I'm still working on the details for that. And the cup will be coming out here soon. Hopefully I'm going to try to have it out by the 5th. For those that are on our mailing list, you'll be getting an issue of the cup, which is the Psychic Coffee Shop's newsletter. And that'll have a lot of information on our hosts because, you know, our team's grown since last quarter, Rainey. It really has, majorly, and I'm really enjoying that. Now, I'll be on Psychic.biz all over the time. I'm doing evenings and nights, and who knows, if Spirit's got me up at 7 in the morning, I'll be on there. And let me see what else is going on in the minefield I call my life. That's about all right now. Of course, the energy overviews will be out on the 1st, like they always are here on this channel. Please like, share, and subscribe in the bottom so you can get updates on us and what we're doing on YouTube. And, you know, check out the Psychic Coffee Shop and Psychic.biz because we all are very active and over the place. We're some of the top, you know, Psychic.biz has gathered, I think, the top psychics in the world. We've got advisors from Australia to UK to the Americas. Do we have someone that's in Japan yet or not? Sonia, do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know? Me either. I think we may have a few that are from the Middle East. So, you know, but we're all up front. We're all out there, you know, straight in your face so that you guys can see us. We have some great content we're creating for you guys. We hope you're enjoying the shows. If you got a show idea, leave it. If you got a show idea or you'd like to have us sit down and talk about something, comment in the video below. Space below, and we will put it up on the thing, and we'll run with it. You know, because this is for you guys too. You know, we don't come up just to let you guys join us for the table and just kind of hear the shop talk. We do this for you guys, and to give you guys 4 different points of view or 5 different points of view depending on the night, and we just fly by the seat of our pants. So until tomorrow, bye guys. Bye Sonia. Bye Rainey.
Take care. Have a good evening.
Bye, guys.